Hey everybody, why am I here today? Well, today I'm going to talk about a trip I took a while back. I had a week off from work and the wife had time off, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go on a trip. And the kids, you get to keep them. I'm going to go on my own. You can have them. I had them last month when I took them to South Dakota, so blah. And she was okay with it because she's a good wife, and that's why I've been with her for so long. So, where did I go? What did I do? Nothing too exotic, but really cool. I decided to take a trip to Washington to see one of the most famous YouTubers out there, Happy Beard Games. That's not his name's Kevin. Kevin from Happy Beard Games. Although I led with that, it's not to diminish that I also went to go see his friend Brian from the Caffeinated Owl. It's just that I've spoken more to Kevin over the years, and I wasn't sure if Brian and me would even get along, but we did. But that's spoiling the story for later. Let me just tell you the story of the trip as it happened. So before I left, I made sure I had my passport known because I went to South Dakota the month before. My passport worked, everything else. I understood crossing the border, all that stuff. It's all simple. But I'm aware that in the States, they don't have a lot of the same food and nutrition that we have here. So I made sure to bring them some of our Canadian delicacies, which include coffee crisp, real Smarties where you eat the red ones last, some all-dressed Ruffle chips, some Lay's ketchup chips, and Hawkins cheesies. Yes, the delicacies of Canada. So I made sure I packed those up to go. Also, the cases, I was going to show you all this stuff. You know what? The case is way over there. Y'all know. I also got Mario Kart 8 in preparation in case we did some multiplayer Switch gaming, which we did not. But I had held off getting Mario Kart 8 for a long time for the Switch because I bought it for the Wii U, which I loved to death, but no one else plays that one. So if I want to play with other people, I'm going to have to play it on the Switch, which I do have now, but whatever. It's okay. I paid too much for it because I don't like buying a game twice for no good reason. But just like the DLC in the original one, the Switch one has great price DLC. So whatever, and the kids like it. So shut up. All right, but so I got the nutrition, the game, and I also got gas, because gas is probably the most expensive part of this whole journey. But then I was on my way, and I guess here's where we begin the trip.
Hey there, this is Sean from the Electronic Emotions program. I'm doing something interesting today. I'm driving. Well, I guess that's not super interesting, is it? No, but what is interesting is that I'm driving to a campground in BC today. I've never been to BC, so that's a new thing for me. But I've got my French vanilla from Tim Hortons, and I'm gonna go there, spend the night. But then what am I gonna do? I think I'm gonna go south into the States, and then drop off in Olympia. Maybe see Hercules, Zeus, Kratos, maybe, I don't know. See who's there. But no. What I'm really going there for is to see Kevin and Brian and I think Claire, which is the human attached to Brian. And you don't know these names? You should. I don't know why you don't. Kevin is from Happy Beard Games. Brian is from the Caffeinated Owl, both fellow YouTubers. And I'm going to hang out with them for a day, or at least Kevin for a day, Brian maybe just for a night. I think a barcade or something we're going to check out in Olympia, and I'll stay there, and then I'll make the huge trip back. It's a big drive, but I'm alone, no kids, nothing to be responsible for except for myself, and well, that doesn't take a lot of work. I'm pretty simple, both mentally and physically. So if I see anything interesting on the road, I'll let y'all know. All right.
Now, Now, don't let me lead you astray. This is not sort of some sort of epic journey. At least for the most part. For the most part, I'm driving through Saskatchewan, Alberta, where it's plain as can be. You could almost fall asleep at the wheel. So I had what I like to call a pace car. There was a Cal Tire lady who was driving. Just as I was leaving the city, this woman went beside me on my left, and I decided just to kind of keep pace with her because she was speeding, but not more than I would like to go, but whatever. And yeah, I kept her in sight for 3-4 hours, matching speed, not so close I'd creep her out or anything, but enough to keep me on task because I knew that I had a timeline to get to my destination, which would be the Fort Steele campground in BC. Now, although I left early, I still had to get there by 5 p.m. their time before they closed their gates. But I knew BC is an hour behind Saskatchewan, so I had more time than I had. I gave myself like an extra 3 hours, but I knew I'd dawdle. I knew I'd slow down and fiddle about, take in the sights, on the way. But I had an extra hour on top of my early leaving, so it was all good. But I knew still that I would dawdle a lot, so I made sure to keep pace with my pace car. But about 3.5, 4 hours in, I decided to stop for gas. I didn't have to, but I have this thing where I don't know the road. I don't know how many gas stations there are, and I could look up ahead of time, but I don't want to. I just never want to assume that I have enough time to get to the next gas station, so I usually fill up about half tank or a little under. So I had to lose my pace car. And if she even noticed that I was following her, it probably made her feel better that she wasn't being stalked anymore. Yeah, that was the first part of the trip. It was mostly boring most of the way. I did take a bit of a wrong turn because I don't turn my GPS on. I just following the road. And I misunderstood when I was supposed to turn off the highway to go a different way. And so I went straight instead of turning left. Not a big deal. Part of the whole dawdle process and just having a good time on the road by myself. Because what if Kevin wasn't a cool, awesome dude like he is on YouTube? What if he was a loser who's like, you know what? I know Sean's coming, but I'm just not going to respond to his messages for a few days and go, oops, I didn't realize I slept in, blah, blah. People do that crap all the time. So I made sure that this trip was for me and my drive and just me to mellow out, man. And if Kevin and Brian were cool people, then all the better. But I, wanted to just have a cool time. And I did. And that's why I went the wrong way. But there's a good reason. There's a good reason for that. No, there was no good reason for it other than me not paying attention. But good came out of it. And that was as I was getting back onto the road, I lost like 5 minutes, 10 minutes maybe, whatever. But I saw a sign for Vulcan, Alberta, which I totally forgot existed. And I remembered hearing something recently about how they embraced the whole Star Trek thing that kind of matched up with their name. So I'm like, I'm going to go back there on the way home. I don't have time now because it can't dawdle too hard. And yeah, so the trip went on and on. Wow, it was really cool. There was a point where suddenly there was mountains. I mean, yeah, you can see them in the distance, but they look like clouds because in Saskatchewan here, clouds look like mountains, and sometimes you can pretend that you're living in a place that's less flat than a very thin pancake. I don't want a metaphor right now or simile, whatever. I don't feel like it, so don't ask too much of me. It's not nice. It's not polite. Okay, it's my video. Just leave me alone. Yes, so I did see these mountains, and I did have to stop for gas there too. But I just had to take in the fact that I'm not in Saskansas anymore or something. I might even have a clip to show you about that. I'm not sure. I didn't. I'm old enough where I like to enjoy the world around me, other than taking pictures and videos all the time. And that's really. You kind of regret it after, but in the moment you're like, I just want to enjoy and have a good time. And I have memories. I mean, sure, I'm going senile. I forget my name every second day, but that's fine. It's fine. Well, I've been going forever
But I don't think I'm in Saskansas anymore. I don't know what the hint is. Maybe the mountains. We have mountains in Saskatchewan, right? I mean, we have an A&W. I mean, that's pretty Saskatchewan-y. Mountains. Alright, I'm about 2 hours away from my stop for the day. Maybe I'll show you more then.
Anyway, so we're continuing on, and I'm driving through Alberta, which is nice now, and BC. Man, you know, I know these places are pretty, and I love trees and forests and all these nice things. There is something about seeing it in person and actually interacting with the road. At least I'm not touching the trees. I'm not stopping and smelling the roses or nothing. I'm not that lame. I'm just joking. I wish I did. But it is really nice. It literally felt like a video game. The first game that came to mind was the Need for Speed: The Run, because I'm going through the trees, but it's not just like straight roads for hours on end where you just fall asleep following your Cal Tire pace car. It's you're turning left and right and left and right, sometimes up and down too. Like, what is this? Hills? But no, it was really cool, and it felt like a video game, not just because I'm in this scenery that I see in video games more than real life, but also because I'm actually having to turn the wheel left and right, and sometimes even having to put the brakes on to slow down a bit, and I feel like I was going to earn some boost or something, but I didn't, because so many people are driving literally 20 to 30 kilometers or miles. They don't care what unit it is, whatever country in, they're going to go like 20, 30 below. And unfortunately, when you're on the smaller roads, you can't just pass them whenever you feel like it, because there's, other cars coming at you. And whatever. It was beautiful, and their slow movement allowed me to take in the beauty. Eventually, I did get to where I was going, and it turns out BC isn't all 1 hour behind us. And the part of BC I went to for my campground at Fort Steele, the good one, not the bad one, because there is another one that stole the name from the first one. And yeah, we'll go to the good one. Maybe I'll show you a picture to their website. I'll put a link in the comments to their site, because it's a really nice place and their website's really cool. At least funny. It's not like cool as in like really high tech. It's just down to earth. Down to earth, like we all should be. Anyway, I get there and it's like 5:01. I'm like, wait, wasn't I supposed to be here at 5? He didn't say anything about he was just about to close the gates, but I bet he was. Because I got in just in time. Like, I'm pretty good at timing, so I lucked out there. Or I had the good old Eep Gods. I've never discussed the Eep Gods on here. No one has any idea what I'm talking about. Someday we'll talk about the Eep Gods. But in the meantime, drink a Dr. Pepper to make them happy. Well, here I am. I'm at my first stop, the campground. I'm on top of a hill so I can get signal, so I can internet stuff and talk to people. Let's see if I can flip the camera around here. And yeah, there we go. There's my truck and tent. Oops, truck and tent down there, and it's a brown building on the trees there. That's the bathroom. That's where I pee. And yeah, tomorrow I'll sleep soon. I'm so tired, but it's so bright out and interesting. I don't want to go to sleep yet. I'll do another big drive tomorrow, get to the hotel, and we'll update you from there, unless something super interesting happens along the way, but I doubt it. Nope. Alright. Oh, I'm tired from climbing up the hill. I'm so out of shape. Can you tell? Yeah, you can. I stopped at the campground, put up the tent. I'm super tired because I woke up early. The kids been off from school. I've had zero reason to wake up early because I work at night. So getting up at, 5:30, 6 o'clock I woke up that day, and then I slowly woke up to get out, and the drive was great though. It kept me alert. I was eating snacks, all that junk. Anyway, but I got to the campground, put up the tent, hung around a bit, played some Mario Kart 8 on the Switch, gotta start unlocking stuff that I did on the Wii U. and eventually cacked out for the night. Woke up and went on the road again because I had a timeline again, because we had discussed that me, Kevin, and Brian, instead of meeting on the Saturday after I got to the city they live in, we'd meet up that night for supper about 6 o'clock their time. And yes, they are an hour behind, so I did have that extra hour there. So I had to be there by 6, which, again, plenty of time, but, you know, I gotta get ahead. And the Cal Tire lady wasn't here this time to help me out, to pace car me all the way, so it was just me against the trees and curvy roads and a bit of the BC smoke. There wasn't a lot yet, and just going from there. Across the border, still BC, very, very beautiful place. All the trees, I felt like I could live there. But what would I do with all that oxygen? I don't know. There's so many trees putting out oxygen. I'd probably be like happier or something. I don't know. Who knows what they're gonna do with all that oxygen and trees and view and junk. Okay, so I crossed the border. I'm in the United States, and I'm geographically challenged as well as time challenged, in where the time zones are, obviously. But I'm geographically challenged. I knew that south of Saskatchewan, Alberta, BC is Montana, and then Washington. So I figured I was in Washington, or not yet, Montana, and I was going to go. And of course, I'm always interested in seeing the different license plates of where people are. Like, maybe there's some people from where I am. In fact, when I stopped at the campground a second time, there was another people from my city of Regina, the city that rhymes with fun. They were there too. I never talked to them because I don't want to talk to, you know, people that are people. So that was just cool. So, but I'm looking around. I'm seeing a couple Idaho plates. I'm like, oh, neat, Idaho. There's a place from everywhere. And like, there's a lot of Idaho plates here. And even though in grade 6, which would have been 34 years ago, woo, I did memorize all the states, their positions, their capitals, you know, like you do. But I stopped caring and I forgot. I'm like, where's Idaho anyway? Why are there so many Idaho people here? And eventually I did bring up my map on my GPS. I'm like, oh, I'm in it. There's a little itty bitty sliver of Idaho that goes between Washington and Montana, like a little wedge trying to keep them apart from fighting. And that's where I was. And I stopped off at a Walmart because last month when I went to South Dakota, the kids really wanted me to pick up some unspeakable juice boxes. Here, I got one here. I think it's the only one left. They're all thrown away now or something. Unspeakable, which Kevin and Brian didn't know of, and I guess I thought most people would have known who Unspeakable was. He's a really big Minecraft YouTuber, but he also does a whole bunch of other styles of videos. I think of him like Jackass Light. I think most people with kids know who he is because the kids love him. He's not that bad to watch. There's a lot worse things the kids could watch. And he had some juice boxes when we went last month. Apparently Walmart sells them, but there was not the Walmart we were at, and they were they weren't very upset, but they were disappointed. So when I saw a Walmart as I was driving through this town, I'm like, well, I better stop off in case they have some juice blocks. And I found a bunch of them. I bought about 48 boxes of them. They're like bunches of 12, so about 4 bundles. So that was fun. Kevin and Brian don't know who Unspeakable are, and I bet you don't either, because well, no, that's not necessarily true. If you are watching me, which you aren't, but if you were, you might be around my age, you might have kids, you might know who Unspeakable is, you'd be like, oh, Unspeakable, oh yeah, I might have to go to the States and get some of those too. I see a squirrel outside. Did I just pull a Pixar dog and go squirrel? Interesting. Okay, cool. I guess I'm that crazy too. Anyway, at that Walmart, I bought a shirt, which it's too small for me, but I'm hoping to lose weight with my other channel I'm about to make, which I'll discuss another time. But it's 2 skeletons, and the one's holding the spine of the other collapsed skeleton, saying, "Hey, I got your back." I'm like, oh, that's funny. I like it. But I got the juice blocks, and I picked up Beetlejuice, the animated show. I don't really like it, but every time I see it, I'm like, I should probably get it because I love Beetlejuice. I'm worried about the quality of the sequel coming up, but whatever. The first show is really good, All I Need, and this is the complete set of the animated, which I'm sure is fine. I'm sure it's fine. I just never got into it, so maybe I will. His kids might get into it. I want them to like horror stuff, and let's start off with light kid horror, right? So we did that. I did that. I was driving through Idaho, and I think from that point onward, the land wasn't quite as pretty anymore, and I was on the I-90, and oh my god, it was like driving in Saskatchewan, but a bit more hills, but it was a really straight road, and yeah, you could almost fall asleep. I was just wishing for Cal Tire Lady to be going on a international road trip like me so I could follow her, but whatever, it worked out. Yeah, the I-90 was a really kind of dull, long road, and my GPS was saying, you have hours to go. I'm like, oh boy. But eventually, it got into Washington's. The big giant wind turbines started coming up over the horizon like giants, and I felt like Don Quixote chasing them, you know. Not Coyote. Quixote. Come on, get some culture. And yeah, it just then the curving hills, mountains, trees again. It's all pretty stuff. And I had about 60 miles left to go. And I'm like, I'm almost there. I got lots of time to get to my hotel. I got lots of time to just relax from my drive and then go meet them for supper. Then there was a lot of red on the road on the GPS. And I'm like, why? Construction on the freeway. Oh my God. So this construction had me stopped forever as these vehicles were trying to just get through the one narrow lane that was left. And I got through, and I'm like, oh my God, finally. There was red further up ahead on there, but I'm like, it still says 2 hours to get to the end of this short amount of time I have left. I'm not super comfortable with a lot of freeway driving, especially, well, I mean, I would be fine if I knew where I was going, but I'm relying on my phone to say, turn right here. I'm like, well, give me some notice. It doesn't give you enough notice, right? So I'm trying to pay attention to the GPS and what's happening around me, and there's so many lanes of traffic, and it's so slow. Well, I mean, that's a plus. I mean, because it was so slow, it gave me lots of time to really think about where I was and what I was doing. In the end, I got to my hotel at about 5:45, so I had a fast shower to wash away all the hours of driving, which you think you're not exercising that you'd be fine with, especially with air conditioning on, but no, you get sweaty and it's not pretty. So showered, got dressed, and I went and I met them, and I was, fashionably late, not by much, 10-15 minutes, and I made them aware that I was going to be late anyway. So I think they were also a little late getting there, so there was like a 5-10 minute difference, and they were where they usually went to, but I bet they were thinking, oh, it's this so Sean's an unreliable person, is he? He's got 2 days to get here and he still can't get here in time. Okay. But I showed up, and I remember I saw Kevin first through the doorway in the other room they were in the bowling alley / bar / restaurant / arcade, whatever. And I'm like, oh man, what if we don't get along right off the bat and it just gets or not even that. What if it was like a really awkward, like, hi, oh, you're the guy from YouTube. Oh yeah, you're the guy that comments on my awesome YouTube channel but can't make any videos of your own. Like, yeah, that's me. But no, it felt like I stepped in to one of their videos and I belonged there. I almost didn't come back. I belong there so much. But I like my family a little bit, plus my job's here and my money and all my stuff. So sorry guys, my stuff and family outweighs you. I'm sorry, I had to come back home. But yeah, that was the meeting them and day one, and then that was great. We talked a bit, learned how to get along, learned how our boundaries were for what we could say and couldn't say. They tried testing how far they could push me before I got offended, and you can't do that. You can't offend me with words like that. So but that meant I couldn't offend them either, and it was really good. That's one of the best things when I meet new people, is learning that I don't have to walk on eggshells, and they are not laying down eggshells for me to walk over. So super appreciate that. Hey family, I thought I'd just make a quick video showing the room. Honestly, compared to the rooms I get normally, it's pretty decent. So here's the bedroom. This is the mirror, doing kind of like a video selfie. Yeah, I got your ironing board and towels and stuff. Uh, bed stuff like a bed with a TV. You know how it is. Frick, it's like a kitchen right here, and then a nice little living room. It's almost like a party here. Too bad I didn't have Kevin and his friends come over. I actually had a really good time with them. There was no awkwardness at all. Like there's that 10 seconds of okay, we're all meeting. How's it gonna go? But it was like I was in one of their videos. I was just one of them, and they fueled me, man. They're just like me, at least from 10 years ago. Like everything. Like there was nothing. We were fueling each other with stupid jokes and how awful we could be. It was awesome. I liked it. And there's still tomorrow to hang out. Oh, this is just we weren't even going to meet today, but we thought, I said, hey, let's go for supper, make a plan for tomorrow. And they liked it, so it was good. And we did. So maybe me and Kevin make a video tomorrow. I don't know. Big bathroom. I don't even need a bathroom this big. Like, who needs a bathroom this big? I mean, if the tub was that big, that's a different story. But yeah, not much here. All right, the next morning, I woke up early. I don't know why I woke up early. I guess I was excited for the day because this is the day I get to actually talk, hang out with him, maybe even make a video with Kevin, be in the Kevin cave, the beard cave, the man beard. I don't know. The man beard cave. I don't know. What do you call it, Kevin? So while I was up early, I thought, well, I'm going to go and check a couple stores on my own. Kevin and Brian were going to show me this bookstore and game store. They're right next to each other. But I was going to check out a Valley Village, another little small secondhand store nearby. Just enough little places to kill time until I got there. And one of the things I always do when I go to another city or town and I'm going through is I like to check out the movies and stuff. Because sometimes they have movies that I can't find where I am. Just once because all the same stores I go to all the time and the lineup doesn't change that much. But all the people nearby have the same tastes as they usually do. Therefore, they're not buying and selling the same movies. And there's a lot of movies I can't find, even though they're not super uncommon. And yes, I could go online and buy things, but it's just not as fun, I could just talk to people online and never ever leave the house too. And although some people might appreciate that when it comes to me, some might not, so I like to get out. So this one store I went to, it was just this little, it was more furniture than anything else. And there was essentially one shelf of movies. And there wasn't many, but holy crap. I found so many. I'm going to go through them here now. Van Wilder, freshman year. I love Van Wilder. That was a great movie. Ryan Reynolds, there's hardly a movie he has I don't like. Just one, Buried. I have the other Van Wilder movie, Rise of the Taj. I've never seen it because, I haven't got around to this. I don't usually watch comedy spin-offs too often because they're mostly cash-ins. But I did want to have all three, and I can't find this one anywhere. There it is, on the shelf, right there. So I bought it, and I watched it too. I still haven't seen Taj, even though I had that for years, but I watched that one, and it was okay. It wasn't the worst thing in the world, kind of generic. Wormwood, Road of the Dead. I think it's New Zealand or Australian. And I hear it's pretty good. I mostly heard about when the sequel came out. So here's this one, Blu-ray. Let's go for it. Some watched it. The Sentinel. It sounds familiar. I probably heard of it back when I used to hang out at various movie stores or gas stations that rented movies. I just stared at all the movie covers forever. I didn't even have a VCR way back then. I probably saw it, but I didn't even remember hearing of it. It's got Chris Sarandon of Child's Play fame, as far as I'm concerned. I think he's in one of the Robin Hoods or something. It looks good. Who directs it? Michael Winner. Well, it's a Winner directed it. It's got to be good, right? Then I got this. I've never heard of it. It's probably not good, but it's a series. Grenade Presents, and it sounds like a musical thing, or maybe that's the impression I get from the back. I thought it was almost a music artist's music video collection or something, but it's called Revenge of the Grenards, right? And it says, from Same Sick Minds, it brought you Night of the Living Shred. I don't know. I like the Revenge of the Nerds. I don't really understand doing a parody of a parody, but that's what they do sometimes. Think I've heard of this one too, and it's by Roman Polanski, and it's called The Fearless Vampire Killers, or pardon me, but your teeth are in my neck. And it looks like it could be a decent vampire show. It's a spoofy parody type thing, and I like my comedies. I have this on VHS, but not DVD, and I've never seen it. And according to the back of the case here, it's the first time Bill Murray and Harold Ramis did something together. So maybe it's really good, or maybe they're finding their footing, and that's why they get really good later. I don't know. I've been looking for this forever on Blu-ray. I bought this ages ago. I saw it in the theater, and I was saving to wait to have a all three movie night of Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, World's End. In the end, I just ended up watching World's End with a friend instead of all three. But the movie stopped working near the end. Now, I bought this brand new, or the one I bought was brand new, and years of not watching it, it just stopped working near the end, like skipping, like a scratch TV. My Blu-rays don't stop working. When I worked at Rogers Video, one thing I learned is Blu-rays don't generally stop working unless you feed it to a dog, or they were damaged in the production process or something. And when he was over that night, I'm like, fine, I'll just find my DVD copy because I don't throw those away, and we'll just finish it with that. I'm guessing the copy I have didn't come with the DVD, so I just had just the Blu-ray. So I had to download it illegally. Oh no. And we finished watching it. But I've been looking all over town, and I can't find this anywhere. And again, I don't want to buy online. But I found it here. The price is a little high, $6 for a used movie. But, don't care. Finally found it. And it includes the DVD, in case, this Blu-ray doesn't work either, which, I don't know. I don't remember ever hearing this. It's called We Are Still Here. And I don't think there's any particular names I recognize. But it seems like your basic kind of ghost story. And you know what? I don't mind those. I like those. I don't have this. I think I might have caught a glimpse of it on TV a long time ago. But there's that. It's an animated movie I didn't hear of. It looks like it's probably awful. But there it is. And I may have heard of this Terry Gilliam movie, but I don't remember hearing of it. So I saw it. I thought I'd pick it up. The Zero Theorem. I don't care for his movies, but I don't know why. I mean, I guess the pacing feels really weird for me. When I mentioned Don Quixote earlier, I was thinking of that Terry Gilliam movie. I want to like them. I'm gonna probably force myself to like his movies one day because they are really good. But that's what I got from that store. And then I went to Valley Village, and I found practically nothing. But I did find the Care Bears movie. Because when I was a kid, I liked Care Bears. But I don't really care for this movie. I don't care for it. Okay. Pun not intended, but embraced and used. It's the Care Bears movie 2 that I really enjoyed as a kid when they introduced the Care Bear cousins. Even though it didn't make sense, because if they've been there the whole time, where have they been all these years? And this... Why was this movie so hard to find? I've been looking for this for years too. I have it on VHS, but I'd rather have it on DVD because it's just easier and just clear. And I mean, I love VHS, but it's not always the most convenient thing to do. I've been really looking for this, and I don't know. For some reason, I can't find this for sale anywhere. And that kind of gold ring makes it seem like this is probably a first printing of it, and then they might never printed it again. Yeah, and then after those two stores, I actually... I went to KFC to get some food, and then I waited in the parking lot of the bookstore game store for Kevin and Brian to show up. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head right now what the name of the bookstore was. I think it was Secondhand Books, something like that. It's a bookstore, but it was really nice layout, and they had, for some reason, a few games. I think if I had a bookstore right next to a game store, I probably wouldn't carry games. It probably wouldn't be the thing I'd focus on. But they had a few, and they had nothing of note at all. So I'm pretty sure that the game store people might come over, buy all the good stuff, and sell it over there higher. But whatever. It's cool that they're there. One thing to look at. Lots of comics, lots of books for some reason. But happily, a lot of movies. First of all, Brian had picked this one up off the shelf. And he was thinking about getting it. I'm like, oh, I would have bought that. But I didn't say it out loud. But he put it down, decided not to get it. I'm like, ho ho! Opportunity! And so I picked it up. I have Children of the Corn, but I don't have 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7. And there's like 2 or 3 more since then. But this has the first 7 minus the first, which I have. So that was really awesome that he put that down. And maybe he sensed it and he's being really nice to me. I'm going to go with that. Yeah, Brian, thank you so much. I know you really wanted this set of movies, but you let me have it. That said, Kevin picked up The Frighteners on DVD. And I was really hoping lightning would strike twice in the same store and he'd also put it down. But he didn't. Kevin, I want that movie too. But you found it first. So you have it. I hope you really like it. I hope you enjoy it. And I'm sure he will. I haven't thought about The Frighteners. It's not something that's ever really on my radar, so it's not something that really bugs me. I don't have. There's a remake of that, or is that Flatliners I'm thinking of? Yeah. See, I confuse the two. I'll find The Frighteners again another time, and when I do, I'll have that extra memory of Kevin picking up. It'll remind me of my trip. And honestly, if I picked up then, I'd see it on my shelf, remember, but it'll mean more when I find it again. That's pretty cool. Oh, yeah, it also has Halloween, like 6, 7, and 8. Who cares? I mean, I already have them. That's why I don't care. But also, like, why that weird pattern? Kevin saw this on the shelf for me because I'd mentioned I can't find Superbad anywhere. I never bought it when it came out because I didn't care. But like, I have most of Judd Apatow's movies now, and I just can't find Superbad anywhere. Why? But I don't have to find it anymore because there it is. What Lies Beneath? I've never thought about looking for this. I really like this movie. I got it on VHS, brand new, back when I was just buying VHS tapes. And it was a really good movie. I bought it for Michelle Pfeiffer and Harrison Ford, but I stayed for the awesome Ghost Story movie. And I'm happy it's not just me, because the lady at the counter who sold it to me, she used to be, oh, that's such an underrated movie. I'm like, yes it is. So watch this movie like horror movies. It was really good. I mean, it doesn't do anything like super new or different, but it does it really, really well. Great actors doing a great job. And movie roles you don't really see them in. Like, how many Harrison Ford Ghost Stories are there? And then there's the Final Cut, which I thought was an okay movie. I don't remember much about it. I just remember being grumpy over the premise because, like, it's the idea of when you die, your memories get edited to make you look better. But I'm like, it's just for your funeral, so like, what's the controversy? That's how funerals work. You say the good things about people. You don't mention the bad things because it's the people that like you probably that are there and blah, blah, blah. Whatever. It was an interesting movie. It's Robin Williams, and his non-comedy roles are always interesting. Death to Smoochie, 1 hour photo, Final Cut there. All right, so this is, we went to the game store like right after, and I grabbed a few things. There's a game I could have bought. It was Kudelka. It was 220 American, so that'd probably end up being like close to 300 Canadian, and that's more. The most I've ever spent on a game is 125 for a used game, and that was a bun. I paid 250 for Bucky O'Hare and Metal Storm, so each being 125, whatever. I've never spent more than that on a game, although it's going to get pretty close to that because I spent 90 on Tears of the Kingdom. Too much. I should have bought Kudelka. I was looking on Lukey Games and they're selling it for like 550. But again, I might feel really dirty spending $300 on a game that I probably won't get around to for a long time. And if by chance it didn't work or there's a scratch, because you can't test a whole game, how am I going to take it back? Make another 4-day road trip? Get out of here. Either way, what I did get though, basic stuff, nothing super exciting. But I got High Speed. I don't super need it because I have it on a PS2, possibly even a Wii collection, on a pinball collection, based on the arcade version. Well, this is also, but on the NES you can't replicate it quite as well. But this was the last NES pinball game I needed to get to complete them all. And this isn't rare at all, but can't find it anywhere. Now I don't have to. Orb 3D. This is a game I passed on a million times over. It didn't seem interesting to me at all, ever. But then I watched videos on it, and it does seem like a unique game with an interesting premise. It looks like it might be awkward to control, but it is unique enough and interesting enough. I'm like, how can I pass on having it? But again, couldn't find it anywhere after I found that out. Found it down there. G-Police for PS1. I should pick up one PS1 game. I don't recall ever seeing this for sale in any of my travels, and this is like $12 American, so why not? It looks like it could be just, man, the art on the back is super fuzzy. Don't you love that back in the day? It's almost like they use a camera to take pictures of the screenshots and then just kind of put their blurry pictures on the back of the box. I mean, everything else is crystal clear, like it's a real case. I mean, sometimes you might get like, fake cases, they don't look as good, but that's just bad imagery. There's a couple new games I've seen for PS4 where they look bad. In fact, one of them we saw in that store, it was a Space Hulk, I believe, for the PS4. That's wow. I mean, I guess your fans, like a Warhammer a fan is going to buy it regardless of how crappy your cover box is, and you're probably not going to attract anyone who isn't a Warhammer fan, so why bother? But still. Thrillville, off the rails. I just started playing that for PS2 before my trip, and yeah, I mean, you might get reviews of this where it's like pointless and dumb, and it kind of is, but man, it's a really, really, really easy entry level theme park sim type game, and honestly, I like it. Plus, the mini games are kind of fun, and plus, it's so weird that it's kind of, you have to experience it, and so that's the sequel on the Wii, and I hear it's pretty much the same thing again. But hey, more of the same on that same. Kevin did pick up this one and put it back down, so thank you, Kevin. It doesn't look that special, but it's got the whole Konami tag on it, which means things sometimes. It's called Air Force Strike Delta, and after looking at it, I seem to remember hearing that it was actually a hidden gem for the PS2 because there's a really decent story behind it, and the cutscenes might be really cool. And judging by the art on the cover here and just the bit back here, it very well could be a very interesting story. I mean, it was only $11, so why not give it a shot? I mean, come on. I'm here to experience games I don't see normally and not break the bank, and then there we go. So thank you, Kevin, for putting that down and letting me have access to Air Force Delta before I never saw it again. And then this one, I paid too much for it. It was $12, which would be fine. Namco Museum Mega Mix. But, like it says, 24 games on there. See, I knew this game existed. I didn't know this was the second version. The first version is just called Namco Museum Remix on the Wii. And it's almost identical, except this one has 9 more arcade games that the other one didn't have. And I have all these arcade games on 100 other collections. And it's got one more remixed game. Is it Cutie Cute? What, Rally X? No, Grobda. I think it's Grobda. Whatever. I think it's a shooter of some sort. And they have the arcade version on here, and they have the remixed version, which makes a total of 5 remixed games? 6 now. So I paid the money for the extra remixed game. But you know what? Whatever. I have a weird soft spot for the Namco Museum games. They're so terrible in that they never include all the games. And that's just so weird. The PS1 is the most interesting of the museums, the original set of museums. Unfortunately, they're super expensive, except for number 3. But they're interesting because you actually are walking through museums and do things. Oh, gotta go back to the bookstore for a second. I also picked up this All My Friends Are Dead book. I remember this book, never actually read it, but it is super fun. And hey, I just need to insert this in here. I forgot to mention that at the bookstore, before we went to the game store, where I picked up the Children of the Corn movies and that All My Friends Are Dead book, I also picked up these Mad magazines. I love Mad magazines, have a lot of them. I should make a video on that someday, but these first 2 I never had. Now these ones, they are pretty special, not just because they say special. That one's super special. They're special because they include the smaller reprints of the original Mad comic books. They were sister comic books to Tales from the Crypt, made by the same people and everything, right? EC. EC. And, there was a few of these, obviously, at least, what, 8? I don't know how many there were that were reprinted in these magazines, but I'm assuming 8 out of however many Mad comics there were. And I already had all 3 of these. They belonged to my mom. But over the years, they've just gotten in bad shape. So when I saw these ones, I had to buy them again because what, $3? Yeah, $3. They were just really nice to pick up again, just with good quality, all the covers intact. Mad Magazine's really special. It's hard to read nowadays. Like if you're someone who didn't have any sort of idea of what the culture was like in the 60s and 70s or whatever even, it's hard to understand the jokes. I was always a little bit behind the times growing up, so my entertainment was from Mad and stuff, so I kind of have a little in on that. So, but anyway, I thought I'd just add this in here since I forgot to add that in my pickups. I'll just squeeze it in the video where it belongs. Back to the video.
That's my pickups. On the way home in Moose Jaw, like right before getting home, I did pick up Cocaine Bear. Probably the most expensive thing I bought. Because I bought it new. I thought I'd just buy it before it disappeared off the shelves. It just seems cool to watch. All right, so after we had our buying stuff, me and Kevin went back to his place. He showed me all around his little beard cave. Well, let's not go through that again of what we're calling it. But he showed me all the cool stuff, the stuff that you only see in the videos, and it was just kind of surreal in a way to see all that. I joked how Fem Trooper from near where I live, not a city nearby, she went and visited a happy console gamer, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna visit my own happy YouTuber, huh? And I did. I had a plan before, but it's kind of a weird coincidence. But yeah, me and Kevin, we talked way too long because we were supposed to meet up with Brian at this place we were going to go to, but me and Kevin were also going to make a video, but we kept delaying. We were considering making T2 the arcade game because he's been making the Super Scope series, and I wanted to try out the mouse, but we didn't set up the mouse or the game, and what we did play though seemed much more appropriate, and that was Legend of the Mystical Ninja for Super Nintendo. It's a 2-player co-op. I don't think that people have been talking about him in the last few years too much, and it's an awesome game. We both just really wanted to play at the same time, and that was cool. Oftentimes, when you're talking to someone playing a game, you always hem and haw what to play, but that was just, I saw it in his collection, and I said we should play that, and he's like, yeah. So we played that, made a video of it. Check it out. It's just us playing, so I was probably more excited to be there than say anything coherent or whatever. I was excited to be there, and it was a good time. It's cool to be on his channel. I've been on his channel before, but only in an edited-in, pre-recorded sort of way, so being right there was nice. So we finished that up. I won't go into all the stuff I saw in his room. That I'll leave that for him to show off to all y'all. Got a couple business cards of Happy Beard Games, which is cool to have. And then we went to go see Brian at this bar arcade kind of thing, and it could have been better. The people running it were they seemed more interested in the beer aspect, which there was tons and tons of on-tap beer, overwhelming amount. But unfortunately, it didn't really describe each beer, so it's hard to pick other than like going for the funniest name. Whatever, beer's beer. Except for some of the bad. I've hardly ever come across a bad beer, so beer's beer, it's all good. And I played a bit of skee ball there, and I had fun talking to Brian and Kevin and Claire, and I just hardly played. I didn't get to the games because I was talking to them because I talk too much, as you can see. I was trying to make this quick, and we're already 46 minutes in. Less than 46. There's some hems and haws, and me staring at the screen, thinking about what to say next that needs to be cut out, right? But yeah, we did that, and
instead of being smart and going back to the hotel so I could sleep and leave the next day, I did go to Brian's. And we hung out there. We watched. I had them watch Dr. Horrible sing along blog because I hadn't seen it yet, and I thought everyone should see that. I don't know how much they appreciated it. Hopefully they did. It's kind of old now. And we just hung out, talked. Oh, I should also mention. I didn't see him. I mean, I guess I undersold Claire too. Claire was really fun to talk to. Also fit in with my personality, which I was worried about too. Sometimes friends, girlfriends don't always get along with me all that well, but she did, and that was wonderful. Thank you for being cool, Claire. And there was another person I met too, and I hardly saw him. His name's Kyle, another friend of theirs, and when the day one when I met them in the bowling alley, he was at claw machine, and he apparently he was obsessed. He wants to get every duck out of there, so he has a lot of doubles. So he gave me 8 of his doubles. There's a green one. Wow, it looks kind of radioactive. How it's almost see through. A red one, a hamburger duck, which I'm pretty sure my daughter would love to like just maul to death because she has a hamburger cat that she loves. A ladybug one. Evil ladybugs, right? I tells you. An American duck. This is like the American duck, right? Now this one, I said that one's radioactive. I guess this one's radioactive. It was actually kind of melting with stuff. A black and white one. It kind of matches my new black and white cat we got a few weeks ago. And a blue one, like a blue whale, but not as sweet. All right. I did leave there Brian's place eventually because I did have to come home. And I went back to the hotel, and then I had a problem. Because I didn't go to sleep right away because I'm like still wired up from like having a really awesome day. Like it was a cool day. I was hoping it was going to be one of the great days, but I was thinking it might not live up. Like if they weren't cool or anything, I'd be like, well, it'll be a throwaway day, and the rest of the trip is for me. But no, thanks guys. You made it a wonderful trip, and you made seeing you guys the highlight as opposed to the low light. So you make me excited to make future trips without having to stress about wasting my time. So thank you so much, guys, again. But enough with them. They're in the past now. I left. I went to the hotel. This is me time now. Getting ready to go back. But so I stayed up a couple extra hours, and I'm like, oh, I gotta leave. I gotta wake up in like an hour and 45 minutes so I can leave before it gets busy, because I ain't gonna get stuck in that traffic again. Not just because I don't want to be stuck in the traffic on the freeway, but remember how I said that Kevin, Brian, and them they're an actual hour behind? Well, now I'm going the other way, so I'm literally gonna lose an hour just for going in that direction. And that campground still closes at the same time as it did. And I picked a campground right in the middle from home and their place. So I gotta go. So, but I got there on time and early. I think what it was is I did skip all the traffic. I got on the freeway. It didn't even feel like the same freeway. I mean, one, it was dark, and for me, if it's dark, it might as well be a different dimension. But the traffic just wasn't there. And it felt so different, and I just got the. It makes me wonder though. So we got this freeway and all these roads I went on, and none of them gave me the same speed limits that I had in Montana or South Dakota, where it got up to 80. I'm like, wow. I think South Dakota got 75, and there's one highway on Montana. I'm like 80. I even like. I'm gonna go slower. And it's a little bit too fast for me. As for how it was. Anyway, so I'm on these. I do get to my campground on time. Everything's fine. Now, I don't know if it's because I'm going faster or if I'm just bored by all the beauty, but for some reason it was just less pretty that time. Or it could have made how my day started off. The day started off great. I mean, I did choose. I had to go, do I sleep or do I stay up and go? Or do I just go? If I didn't stay, I'd be like, well, why did I even get a hotel for a second night then? Which maybe I shouldn't have at that point, but I guess, yeah, it's good I left. I needed a little bit of a nap. So I did sleep, and I woke up. I was worried I wasn't going to wake up, or I was going to sleep in too far and then not go and get there on time. Whatever. But I did, I filled up the gas, because I hadn't done that since forever before that. So I filled up on gas, and I got 2 sandwiches from the store there, the gas station right next to my hotel. And both of the sandwiches, I don't know if they intentionally tried to poison me or what. It was some sort of weird cleaning solution. It's almost like it literally, there's like almost like a light powder on some of the top of the sandwiches, and I think literally some cleaning solution powder got on them before they sealed up the sandwiches. And I don't know if that was intentional. There's only 3 sandwiches in there, and they're both really, really gross. First few bites, I'm like, oh, I must have just been confused or tired. My taste's off or something. But no, it was really gross. And I couldn't quite place the taste or smell, so I think it was a cleaning powder, like I don't know. But it was really gross, and I was wondering if I was going to die before I got to the campground. But I'm still alive, so nice try. God, I don't remember the name of the gas station, but nice try, gas station guy. You didn't kill me yet. But then I did remember, after waking up from the campground and continuing on my way again, nice campground. I'll leave a link in the comments below. I did remember to go to Vulcan, and I didn't realize how far it was out of my way. But this time, my whole trip, I was deadlines. Got to get to the campground by 5. Got to get to the hotel so I can get to meet them by 6. Got to go back to the campground by 5. And now it's like I got to get home before, I have to go to work. So if I'm a day and a half late, I guess I am. Whatever. So whatever. So I went to Vulcan. It did take me quite a ways out of my way. It turns out they just put the Starship up, like, you know how, like, in Moose Jaw they have Mac the Moose, the world's biggest moose. Yes, they competed with some town in Norway over the biggest moose. Adventure Norway's like, okay, you have your little thing there, Moose Jaw. Okay, your moose is ugly, but it's taller, so wow, good for you. Some towns have the biggest shoe or ball of string or paperclip, or in this one it's a Starfleet starship. That's pretty cool, I think. Anyway, I'm a big Star Trek boy, so I wanted to go there. And yeah, it was just put up in 2016. So before that, I'm not sure how much they embraced the Star Trekkeriness of it, but it's pretty cool. I'll show pictures and videos of what I saw there, so I'll have to describe it too well with my own voice words. But I picked up a couple things there. This shirt, Starfleet Academy, and it's funny because I just went and saw a friend the other day, and he was wearing almost exactly the same shirt, a bit thicker, a bit redder, but the exact same symbol, except for mine also says, if I can read it, Vulcan, Alberta, because I went to Vulcan, Alberta. His is just off the internet, so I win. Yeah, no, I win. Mine's cool. But I also picked up authentic Vulcan ears. I'm guessing. I'm hoping they harvested them from a deceased Vulcan. I don't know if too many living Vulcans would want to give up their ears, but they're authentic Vulcan ears from Vulcan, Alberta, Canada. Just a speck on the map. So I don't even know if I even want to open this. I thought it was just some generic Star Trek merchandise, but no, it's got the printing on it saying it's from Vulcan, Alberta. So cool. I didn't buy too much there. The shirt, but the other thing I thought was cool, because most of it was one part of the video I'm going to show you is just a bunch of Star Trek merchandise over the years. Tons of it. I'm not going to show you all of them, or I'll speed it up or something because it's just too much. But there's a back room which has an automatic door that slides open. No sound. It doesn't go sadly, but whatever. It's got one up on the actual show, because the actual show they actually had some guy pulling the door open instead of being automatic. So I mean, you win some, you lose some, right? But inside they got a bunch of mannequins wearing costumes, but they got signatures from Star Trek cast, including Leonard Nimoy and stuff. I'm like, wow. And this isn't like a big town in Alberta. It's a tiny, 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 tiny little town. So I mean, good for them. It's a town visitor information center, but it's really a Star Trek museum. But other than showing merchandise and having a cool museum, and it's wonderful in there, honestly. The stuff for sale is Spock ears, but then they have lanyards, cups, your basic merchant, like a trophy store kind of merchandise, coffee cups. I didn't see trophies, but lanyards and just stuff like that with printing on it. But they had a Tribble, a borged up Tribble. Like, I have a Tribble somewhere, but it's like a football-sized Tribble maybe, and stuffed and fluffy. So it's nothing special, you know. $10, $25 specialty item. But they got some plastic parts on it, making it look like Borg. And it's official. It's not like they made it themselves. It was official Star Trek. 100! Like, a new... I mean, Borg Tribbles are awesome, but no, 100. What I did buy, though, was this actual transporter. I'm guessing from the TNG series. I guess I didn't even look to see what year it is. It's probably on the bottom somewhere. They were selling it for $50, but then it was 50% off for as is. And when I asked what as is meant, she said, well, maybe because it's not in a box. I'm like, all right. But $25, right? It just looks cool on its own. But I think it will work. But I imagine it just needs changing, because on the bottom here it is talking about how to change the light bulbs, because it's a really cool science trick. Because what you do, I don't know if it'll show on here, but you open the door, you put your toy inside, and see, yeah, you can't see my hand, even though it looks like you can't see my hand go inside it because there's a mirror. But when you shine a light in there enough, can I do that? Let me see here. Let me just try turning it on here. Sorry for the delay, fellows. There we go. Now, if I were to do something like this, no, it doesn't work. Whatever. It doesn't work. But from this angle, it does work. Like, I've had it up to the light, and yeah, when the light comes in here, suddenly the hand materializes from nothing. It's really cool. So basic though, and I'm assuming that's what these levers do. Like, you turn the light on gradually, and then the character toy becomes visible, like they've just beamed in. And honestly, as simple as that is, how freaking cool is that? And with it being official Star Trek branding, I mean, I couldn't help but have it. And yeah, I mean, otherwise everything else is just your basic merchandise. But having something like this, like, I don't remember if I even saw ads for this on TV. You'd think I would have, but I don't remember. But man, oh man, it's cool. It's almost as cool as this. Okay, so hang on. All right, so there was like a weird horn honking, and then my phone started ringing from some solicitor. So oh, maybe I'll leave it in. Maybe I'll cut it. I'll probably cut it out. I'm running out of time. Time being relative. Actually, the storage on this computer is kind of a little low. Yeah, it reminds me, going back to where I was though, reminds me of this plug and play I have with Transformers from the Rescue Heroes, whatever it is, the kids one, where you actually have the toys that go in it, kind of like Skylanders, but they actually just have, like, the bottom is different, so it pushes different buttons when you're in. When you push the button, the door closes and the inside spins and it reopens, and he's not there anymore, but then he shows up in your TV. Really cool. Man, you know, the simplest things can excite me, and that excites me. The transporter, because it's just cool, and I'm a big Star Trek fan, and I do think, if you were to ask me, Next Gen is my favorite Star Trek, mostly for nostalgia, but the original one holds a lot of nostalgia for me too. So, but yeah, that was my trip. Eventually got home. You know, it was really late at night because I dawdled so much. Vulcan's a lot more out of my way than I thought it was, so there's a duct going all the way up there and then back down. But I also got to experience a lot of back highways in Alberta, which I wouldn't have normally seen, because my GPS would have just taken me to the main number 1 highway. I would have went on that. But this was like a curving, beautiful, hilly, not mountainous, but hilly farming roads. Very pretty. Like, people haven't been there to ruin anything, except for the people that were there to make it their own and made it beautiful. But I got home, went to sleep, woke up, had a day off, and then started my week of work. And I still haven't fully recovered from the lack of sleep, especially since kids are in school again and I'm taking them to school. But that's my trip. The video's just under an hour long. I don't think I'll break it up. We'll see what I do. You can leave in the comments below if I broke it up in half or not. Let me know. Let me know how I uploaded the video, because I won't know, but you will, because you watched it, right? All right. I will leave for now. I just want to say it was an awesome trip. The pickups were cool, okay to cool, right? I mean, they weren't brilliant. The key was visiting the awesome people. I don't know when I'm going to get to see them again. I was supposed to go in 2020 to the Portland Retro Gaming Expo. I had tickets and everything, but things went down, couldn't go then, and I wasn't able to go again until now. I won't be able to go to this PRGE just because scheduling, but maybe we can figure out a way to go to it another year. And I was already mentioning with Aaron from Nerd Crave, maybe he should take a trip from where he's from, come by my way, and then we can drive the rest of the way there, and we can both meet up with him and have a chat, ski, and hang out at the PRGE. In the meantime, have a good night and or day or whatever. I still have never come up with a good outro. Keep it eep. Eeping it real. Stay eepy. The thing that Kevin says, which I can't get to my head right now. Just come back when there's another video. See you in a year. It's not funny. Goodbye.